Oh,
All right.
oh, never mind. Okay, I guess we're live. What happened to my camera? There it is.
There you
Okay.
go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Cam and Focus Weekly. Last weekend we missed the Sunday stream. This is kind of becoming a common story these days, but hopefully moving forward, that's not going to be the case. See, my streams keep on ending up on the most inconvenient days. It was what was it? Mother's Day last Sunday,
And you moved that day
and
before.
I drove for 18 to 20 hours, which was fun. And I'm currently in my car right now because we're staying in a hotel tonight, waiting to get into our house tomorrow. The hotel's right there. Service in there is absolute shite. So out here was the best I could do. So anyways, just in case you guys missed the last stream that we did for Cam and Focus Weekly, we covered Revenge of the Sith to celebrate its re-release in theaters. Oh, and I forgot to mention over here I have Mr. Andrew. I forgot to introduce you. I'm so like off my game today. It's stupid.
It's all right. That's what I'm on the bench. You know, I'm like the sixth man. So there you go.
Oh my God! Don't take me out, Coach.
There you go.
And you guys can also catch us over on the Feast of Fandom's Cantina Happy Hour every Thursday evening. We talk about Star Wars and nothing but Star Wars, except for the times we don't.
Exactly. Kind of like here, you know.
Yeah, exactly. We tend to go off on tangents, but you know that's half the fun. That's half the fun. So today, this has been a long time coming. We're talking about The Blues Brothers from 1980, starring John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. I always want to call him Aykroyd because that's how I've always heard it pronounced, but it's Aykroyd.
Huh? Oh, really?
Yes, Aykroyd.
Well, I'm gonna say Aykroyd. Sue me.
Is it Aykroyd? I don't know. Aykroyd, potato. Exactly. So we've been meaning to cover this for a while now, and finally we're getting around to it. This was a first-time watch for me. I'm kind of surprised that I had never watched it before. Andrew, was this a first-time watch for you too?
It was. I'd heard of it before, but it was always on the watch list, but just had never gotten to it. So I'm happy I finally did because it was a fun watch.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, this movie has a much heftier runtime than I had initially thought it would. I mean, it clocks in at almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
And I mean, looking back on it now, with those 2.5 hours, this is kind of a movie about nothing. They're
on a mission from God.
They're on a mission from God. Yes, from exactly. So it starts out with John Belushi's character. Is it Josh? I believe.
Jim.
Was it?
Wait. Oh, you're not talking about the actors' names. You're talking about the characters.
Jim Belushi. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Let me look up his character's name. I'm so bad.
Elwood.
It's stupid.
It's Elwood
and Jake.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So it starts off with Jake getting out of prison. What is up with my camera? There it is. Okay. And Elwood, played by Dan Aykroyd, picks him up, and they go and visit a monastery where a nun friend of theirs lives. I guess she's like their partner in crime, and she divulges to them that if they don't pay the I think property tax on the building, the government's going to take it back, and everyone in there is going to become destitute and or transient, I think is the word that was ended up being used, unless they can raise $5,000. So their mission is to get their band back together and raise that $5,000. And that is literally the entire story of the movie. The majority of the movie is just them going around and recruiting everybody.
Exactly.
I mean, it's kind of a nothing movie, but it was fun. It was really
Hmm.
fun, and there were a lot. There was a lot, especially within like the first like 30 to 40 minutes of the movie that had me like rolling with laughter.
It's funny how you mentioned, yeah, it's like it's a movie kind of, yeah, about nothing, but also a lot happens too. Because you
A
have like,
lot.
I mean, all the people that are like all the law enforcement, like the Nazis that are trying
All the
to get
enemies
them.
they make, yes.
Yeah,
Like they have like the entire they have like an entire army on them by the end of the movie.
yeah, and they're just chill in the elevator, you know. It's
Oh
like,
God. Well, I was actually looking at this movie on IMDb, and one of the frequently asked questions was exactly how many cars were demolished in the making of this movie.
yes, that's where the
A
budget
lot,
went.
a lot of
It actually
cars.
held the record for most cars um, destroyed in a movie for about, I think, 2 years, and then another movie broke it.
Oh
I
man,
don't
that's
remember the name of
wild.
it, but yeah,
And you would think for a movie like this there wouldn't really be that like destruction element to it,
I was like,
but
"Am I
I mean,
watching the Fast and the Furious?" You know?
well, that first car chase
Hmm.
where they go through the mall
Yes.
was the craziest thing to me. Like it's the Blues Brothers and two cop cars chasing them, and they're going through a mall, and they're like literally going out of their way to demolish everything.
Yes. They name a store and they're like, "Uh-huh," and then go through it.
Yeah, they're demolishing this mall with the cops after them, and the only dialogue in the scene is them admiring the stores as they pass.
Hmm. They're like,
Me-
"Ah, J.C. Penney."
Meanwhile, innocent bystanders are jumping out of the way, fleeing for their lives as this entire building is demolished around them,
Hmm.
and even the cops in the car are just so nonchalant.
And the fact that, and I know it's a movie, people, I get that, but the fact that no tires were popped with all the glass
Wild that,
breaking, you know.
they got some like military grade tires on
Mhm.
those
Oh, they did have
things.
a police car, so you know what? Maybe they have better tires. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're Bluesmobile. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this scene really kind of threw into perspective the tone of the movie. I mean,
Hmm.
the Blues Brothers don't really take anything seriously,
Mm-mm.
and uh, the next scene that really shows us that is whenever Elwood takes Jake to Elwood's apartment.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher is sitting outside with a rocket launcher, and she fires 4 rockets at them and blows up the entrance to this building. And then they get up and dust themselves off, and the music resumes, and they just walk right in.
You know, it's
It's like,
funny bringing up Carrie Fisher. I had a Kroll moment with her because for 90%, you know, for most of the movie, she's just trying to kill him, but you don't
yeah,
know why. And I was like, who is Carrie Fisher? What's she doing? Was she trying to kill him? You know? But yeah, or even when they're in the phone booth and it goes, and they both, no broken bones, no nothing. They just get up, you know. All right.
music resumes, and they keep going. It's
Mhm.
like these things happen with no reaction from them. While they're in the apartment, Carrie Fisher comes by with another rocket launcher and blows up the entire building. Everybody falls through the floor.
Yes.
You know, they're lying in a mountain of rubble, and they just get up. It's like, oh, 9 o'clock, time to go to work,
Yeah.
and that's it. That's the end of the scene.
Hmm. Also, I love
But
John Candy in this movie. I mean,
oh
he's
yeah,
just funny.
John, yeah, John Candy. I mean, on the one hand, I love to see him, but on the other hand, it's like, why was he here? He
Well,
didn't really, he didn't
exactly.
really have the chance to be John Candy in this movie. But you
That's
know,
true.
it's fine. I mean, he adds some nice star power to the movie, I suppose.
Well, the lead guy of the band, the Good Old Boys,
Yeah,
I recognized him from Rocky Rambo 3, I think it is. He's like the head of the military base overseas that Rambo's at. Um, I just watched the Rambo movie, so I was like, oh, that's the same guy. There you go.
yeah. Well, a lot of the most of the band members that they pull together, I do recognize. I just couldn't
Hmm.
tell where I recognized them from, and I, oh, excuse me, I didn't go through the IMDb pages to
Yeah.
see exactly where they were from, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely some recognizable faces there.
Mm-hmm.
And so something else about this movie is that it's definitely a musical. Uh,
Yes.
I wasn't quite expecting that going into it, but and these songs when they happen, they go on for so long.
Yes. It's like the full song. You
It
know?
is the full song. Like well, like the scene in the church where
Oh,
Jake has his godly epiphany. He sees the light, and like that. The song that the pastor sings, James Brown. Of course, he's a
yeah. Hmm.
legend. Gotta love him. But it's like 6 minutes of that. I'm just like, oh my god, get on with it already.
Yeah. Yeah. He was feeling the spirit. Can you blame him? I
And,
mean, you know.
he was one of the few performers in this movie that didn't actually lip sync. He actually performed that song live,
Oh,
which I think is really damn impressive.
you're telling me that Dan Aykroyd lip synced and the at the bar? No, I really thought that was him. Come on.
Unbelievable. I
That's
know, it's crazy,
jeez.
isn't it?
Golly. Stuff
Movie
that goes over
magic,
my
right?
head. Yeah, the stuff that goes over my head is just
And then they have the scene in the diner where they recruit the one guy, I forget his name, but then his I guess his boss or wife, or I don't know what she is to him, gives him a hard time
yeah.
about leaving, and she launches into song for like 5 minutes. I'm just like,
Yes.
oh, stop. Like, don't get me wrong, it's good music.
Oh
It,
yeah.
it's good music, but I'm just like, okay, get on with the story
It would
already. I
it's it would be like if a movie did like a 3-minute hiking montage or something. Like, dude,
uh,
just get to the
yeah.
point, you know?
Yeah, it's a 3.5 minutes of just hiking up a mountain, dodging the occasional falling pebble, only to reach a glaive that's not even used in the rest of the movie. Damn it!
Oh, man. Ah, man. I was watching some of that episode earlier, so it's just on top of my mind.
uh,
So my mistake. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like I
girl.
said, the songs were good, but yeah, it started to be like, all right, okay, all right.
Yeah, well, but by the time the third song came around, I got like halfway through it, and I just like skipped forward a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah. You just keep hitting, you hit skip 10 times and they're still performing. It's like, my God. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It got to be a little tiresome, but I feel like with this movie that doesn't take itself seriously in the slightest, I feel like that's part of its charm. It just didn't
Hmm.
quite work on me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it would just happen a lot. You know, it was kind of like a typical musical. It's you have a scene and then song, couple
Yeah,
scenes, song. Um, but I think the humor made up for that. So
yeah. The humor definitely made up for it. Like, in the beginning, whenever the nun starts to beat them with the ruler,
yeah, thank you, cousin. She's just like,
if she hits one like Jesus Christ, and she hits the other one, Jesus Christ, and then eventually she just throws them out. And I don't know who the stuntman is who did the fall where he's still sitting in the chair and falls down the
oh yeah.
stairs, but that guy deserves an award because that was a convincing
You're telling me
fall.
that really wasn't Jim Belushi?
uh,
Or
yeah,
you're telling me that it wasn't Jim Belushi that did the backflip in the church?
well, if it wasn't, they hit it well. And
Right.
and so
You just never see his face.
yeah, of course. Well, speaking of the church scene, I don't know if you caught this, but there were a couple of times where that there'd be a shot of the Blues Brothers dancing, and then there'd be the wide shot of the entire church with the Blues Brothers kind of in the background, and they're just standing still, and then it cuts back to them and they're dancing.
I did not catch that, but jeez.
Yeah, I love continuity errors. They're so funny.
Yeah. That is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then there's a lot of this movie relies on quirks,
Hmm.
which sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Like Elwood, for example, for some reason he has a thing for single pieces of toast,
Yes.
and
Dry too.
I'm not sure if I wasn't paying attention or if that was ever like really addressed, but I'm not quite sure why that was. Yeah.
Oh well,
With the
yeah.
scene, huh?
I was gonna say, yeah. He tells the story about it.
Okay, I must have like zoned out
No,
or
I'm
something.
messing with
That
you.
was because I was there were times where I was really locked in, and there were times where I was like, okay, I'm kind of checking the time here.
Yeah. No, I'm just messing with you. It's never explained.
Oh well, son of a gun! Yeah,
Or
you
like the
legitimately
four
think that I missed something really important.
four whole chickens and a Coke.
Yeah, yeah. But
Four
four
whole.
fried chicken.
You want the breast? You want the wing? You want the breast or the wings? Four whole chickens.
Just opening my car door here. It's starting to get a little warm.
I thought I was gonna see
Yeah.
the Riddler behind you or something.
Oh yeah. Ave Maria. That for the second one to come out. Supposedly, pre-production hasn't really even started yet, which I'm kind of mad about. But
No, but I did see that Matt Reeves is apparently turning in parts of the script.
I thought, well, yeah,
So
I saw that too. And then a few
now,
days
how
ago,
true that is,
yeah, well, a few days ago, I'd also seen that he said that if production on it didn't start soon, he was gonna back out of the project.
I
But
saw that too. I was like, no.
which I don't know if that was maybe something that got taken like out of context or something over sensationalized. But I read that I was like, no.
Yeah, because I think I saw he might step down as like director, but stay on as like a producer. But who
Yeah,
knows? I mean, who knows? But
yeah.
good grief, I'm gonna be married with kids when that movie comes out, and that's gonna be like in 40 years.
give, give yourself some credit. I'm giving you up until about 35 years before you're married with kids.
There you go. I'll take it. I'll make one of those deals with someone. Hey, if we're both not married by 35,
Yeah, right.
I got a ton of movies.
I mean, we can have what's it like imported Ukrainian housewives or something.
Like one of those sites, hot singles in your area, ready to meet.
Beyonce.
Right? Yes. I'd probably last about 2 hours.
I'm sorry, I went to grocery store to get vodka. You have no vodka in house. What were you supposed to drink? Water? Water, vodka, what's the difference, really? Yeah, that was my attempt at a Russian accent. Make of it what you will.
No, that was pretty good. Better than anything I can do. Oh, man.
I think so. I think each Blues Brother only has one scene in the entire movie where their sunglasses are off.
Yes.
Dan Aykroyd has the scene where he tells his boss at work, I think he is, that he's going to go and be a preacher. And then Jim Belushi, his scene is when he's confronting his ex-fiance, which is Carrie Fisher, who's trying to kill him. And otherwise, every scene, like even driving at night,
Yeah.
their apartment, everything has their sunglasses on. And I really want to know what the reasoning for all that was, because there's a lot of definitely out there creative choices that are made in this movie.
Yes.
One of which being, let's see how many cars we can total.
Exactly. The whole budget went to that. Yeah.
Yeah. The cars and the RPG explosions.
Yeah. I was like, is this a Michael Bay movie?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's those really sparkly kind of explosions that we see in Michael, but especially in the Transformers movies, it's like every explosion has sparkles coming out of it for some reason.
I was just waiting for What I've Done to play at the end credits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's at least 4 shots of American flags. One slowly rising shot of a hot girl's body. Yeah.
Hey, you gotta sell to that group of people, so it's like,
Yeah. Now, it's interesting talking about this movie because, as far as like the actual filmmaking aspect of it, it's pretty standard. There's not really a whole lot that goes on. And again, story wise, it's very much a nothing movie. I mean, nothing
Yeah.
really. You know that they have their mission at the beginning, their mission from God. They get the band together, they play a couple of gigs, and they get arrested again at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally the movie. I mean,
Yeah.
it's tough talking about this. And
I know.
when I planned to cover this movie, I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, this is a classic movie. Everybody loves it. We're gonna have so much to talk about. And then I'm watching it, and I'm like, what do we talk about?
You're like, I've been hyping this movie up for the last month.
Exactly. And I feel like it's a whole lot of hype for not a whole lot of action.
Well, and speaking like on the nothing aspect, I did not watch it yet, but I looked up the sequel, and it's literally the exact same plot of this movie, just without Jim Belushi.
Yeah, they replaced him with John Goodman,
Ah, okay. Yeah,
and
so I'm like, it's not really a sequel at that point.
I will never watch that movie again. Because
I've never even seen it.
That was actually the first one that I saw, and I will never watch it again. It's so boring. And then that they bring in, you know, that kid actor, you know, as one of the Blues Brothers, and he's just there. He's just a prop. There's nothing to him. And Dan Aykroyd and John Goodman have absolutely no chemistry whatsoever. It's like the only line from John Goodman that I remember is him leaning on a bar and going, "So what's the plan?"
Jeez,
that's the only line from him I remember. But
I gotta look this up more.
It's oh god. I mean,
I'm not gonna watch it, but actually, you know what?
If
I can watch the Emu War, if I can watch the Emu War, I can watch the Blue Brothers 2000s.
If you can watch the Emu War, you can sit through anything. But here's the difference. Here's the main difference. The Emu War is an entertainingly bad movie.
That is true.
Blues Brothers 2000 is just a bad movie.
And I am not going to rent this movie. No, sir. Nope.
Well, I tried to watch Blues Brothers from that one that Russian website that I've been peddling now and then, and I've the first result that came up in the search for the movie was the full movie. You hear all the dialogue, but then you hear the Russian dubbing on top of it.
Oh gosh,
so literally unwatchable. And so the next one that came up was the full movie, but it was just a really bad render of it. I mean, there was a lot of stuttering in the video, and so I decided to. I watched it on a website called I think Internet Archive.
Yeah, see, I started to watch on that one too. The only problem is, I don't do well watching stuff without subtitles.
Yeah.
And so I ended up just renting it, which I was like, you know, not that big of a deal. But there's certain movies I'm like, that's fine renting, but I ain't gonna pay if it's bad.
Yeah.
No. But I always check like Tubi and like Pluto TV first, see if it's there. Canopy, I check that too because that's free. And then if it's not on there, I'll be like, all right, well, guess I gotta rent it.
Yeah. Well, if you want a good idea of how bad Blues Brothers 2000 is, I was kind of surprised going into this one because I'm watching it, and when I hear the first F-bomb that's dropped, I'm like, oh wow, this must be like the 1980s PG-13. They'll probably get away with like 3 or 4 of them. But then I look it up and it's like rated R. I'm like, oh wow. But then Blues Brothers 2000, I'm pretty sure it's rated PG.
Oh yeah, it was because I just checked IMDb. So yeah,
that's a pretty significant indicator that it's not going to attract the same target audience.
Nope. But you know, this is an example of like I thought the movie was pretty good. You know, there were definitely some times where I was getting a little bored. I think it's too long for the story it's trying to tell.
A little too much fun.
At 2.5 hours, they probably could have done right at 2 hours, probably.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's about 30 minutes. If you add up, there's probably close to 20, 25 minutes of like, come on, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a lot that really could have been cut out. There's a lot that kind of overstays its welcome. Well, the Illinois Nazi scene, for example.
Right.
The first like 3 minutes of that scene are just dedicated to that guy giving the speech.
Yeah.
And it's like okay, well, I mean that's cool and all, but you really could have gotten the same message across just by showing an establishing shot of the rally,
Mm-hmm.
having the guy's speech play in the background, and the camera slowly pulls back until we can show the line of traffic and then see
Mm-hmm.
the mobile. We didn't have to sit through his entire speech because it
Exactly.
added nothing to the scene.
Or it didn't add anything. Yeah, not to the movie, not to anything.
And I guess the argument could be made that they wanted to spend more time with that character in particular because he ends up being one of the ones who is made an enemy of. But I mean, really, what it amounts to in the end is just everybody coming together for that final destruction scene.
Yeah.
So it's not like he was particularly important to the story, regardless.
Nope.
And then again, all the singing scenes, like they really could have been trimmed down. Keep the scenes in there, absolutely.
Yeah.
Keep the
Yeah.
scenes in there. But I don't have to just sit through 5 minutes of song.
The ones I will say, the one song scene that I actually enjoyed, where I wasn't checking the time, was where they were at the country bar, the cowboy bar, and they were impersonating the other band. That one was funny. I was like,
That one was
okay.
good.
And yeah, like you said, Dan Aykroyd really was singing that song, Rawhide Times, or whatever it was called. I don't remember.
Yeah. It definitely should have been. There's a lot of fat that could have been trimmed off of it for sure. And the difference, yeah, I mean, movies like this are the reason why a lot of people have problems with long run times, because they come across movies with these big bloated run times, but the time isn't used effectively. It's not like a movie like Heat, where it's
right.
3 hours long, but every scene is important.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with this, it's really just kind of a montage. Like the entire movie is a montage.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Of them getting the bandmates together.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those scenes are definitely funnier than others, but there's a stark unevenness to all of it that really killed what could have been a very streamlined movie.
Yeah, well, and don't get me wrong, I like movies with long run times, but longer doesn't always mean better.
Yeah.
I mean, like, heck, I've watched hour and a half long movies before, and I'm like, that was too long for the story you were telling. You know, exactly. And so it's like, you have to equate the story with the runtime and be like, okay. And I know sometimes by the time you get the final cut, you're too far, money and production costs. It's harder to go back and whatever, but sometimes less is more.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's like Whiplash. I don't know if you've seen that one yet.
That's one I haven't yet. I want to.
One of my all-time favorite films. It clocks in at I think it's either just under or just over an hour and a half.
Oh wow!
And every second is used so well, and it's such a great movie. But then you have movies like this where it's 2.5 hours long, and it feels like it should have been an hour and a half.
Wow, Whiplash has an 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb. That's very impressive.
Well deserved,
dude.
Very deserved. I mean, I might end up doing that movie on the show at some point, but even if I don't watch it
I was gonna say it's been on my watch list for a long time.
I mean, it's emotional. It's hard to watch. It's uplifting. It's devastating. It has every emotion you could want to feel in a movie in it. And the ending, if you do watch it, well, I'll definitely want to discuss like the meaning behind the
Hmm.
ending with you. But it's so earned. It is so earned, but there's a layer of bittersweetness to it that really kind of makes you question whether it's a good or a bad thing.
Wow.
So, and it's masterfully directed. And
No,
what
you're good.
Mile,
Sorry.
you good?
Yeah.
And with Miles Teller already being a very accomplished drummer, he
Oh,
adds
okay.
he adds a lot of authenticity to the movie. Like it's not just like reaction shots of his face, but all you see are the sticks going whenever it cuts away.
Ah.
Like you see him doing the work, and
Hmm.
so yeah, just watch it at some point. If you have an hour and a
Yeah.
half, still just sit down and watch it. It's so good.
Yeah, no, I think I don't know if it still is, but I know I saw I think it was briefly on Netflix or somewhere. I saw it streaming somewhere. I definitely, like you said, I've heard so many great things about it, and it's one of those movies where I'm kind of always thinking about it in the background, and then I forget about it, and then I hear about it again. I'm like, yes. So what I need to do is just the next time I think about it, I need to just, I'm like, I'm just gonna watch it.
Into it,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah. Or I'll just buy it and then put it on my shelf, and then once it collects enough dust, I go, oh yeah, I have this. Oops.
Um, let me see. Heat, Seven, Whiplash, Gods of Egypt. Oh, I'm there.
I actually earlier today, or last night, I was with my sisters and I. We were gonna watch a movie, and I was like, I have the perfect movie. And they're like, what? I go to my shelf, pull out Gods of Egypt. I actually ended up showing them Galaxy Quest. It was our first time watching it,
That's a good.
so we watched a good movie, but not
Yeah.
Gods of Egypt. I'm still deciding if I want to spend $25 on an Emu War Blu-ray collector's edition. Uh, you
I
know,
mean, if for nothing else, then just say that you have it, and you
maybe I'll
have
put
the
that on my
freedom to
birthday
pop
list.
it whenever you feel so inclined.
No, I would tell people, I'll be like, dude, I'm gonna make people think I'm crazy because I'll say this is an amazing movie, top 10 favorite movie all time. So then they're sitting there going, huh, this is pretty. What's good about this? Let's understand this on a deeper level. What are they showing here? And
But
then I'll tell them it's
that's the joke. There is
exactly.
deeper level.
This is very historically accurate, not just the title. Like this really happened.
It's like you have a crowd of all your friends over, and it's like the TV on, the Blu-ray player on, the movie, the Emu War, the doors locked.
That's right. Duct tape, check.
Exactly.
It's like that movie where the guy is having his eyes forced open. I don't know what movie that is, but I've seen the
That is
meme.
a Clockwork Orange.
Oh,
That
okay. Yeah, yeah.
another fantastic movie that has oh geez, what's the guy's name? He played
Let me
General
look
Zod.
it up.
He played General Zod in the original Superman. I'm gonna feel
Oh,
I'm gonna feel so silly when I hear his name.
all right. Hold on. Let me look it up because I don't remember. All right, hold on. Malcolm McDowell.
Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, see, that's one because that's Kubrick, right?
Yeah,
Or directed by.
I believe that is Stanley Kubrick. Yes,
Okay. See, that's one. Yeah, direct. Okay, and that's another one that it's always like, I'm gonna give that a watch, and then I forget about it.
that movie's tough. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a bad movie, not by any
Yeah.
means.
Oh yeah, I've seen the rating, and I was like, woo.
But it's hard to watch because
Hmm.
the people that Malcolm McDowell is a part of, like his gang, they're called the Droogs.
Mm,
Um, they routinely get high on a special kind of milk that they drink and go out and beat people up, rape people.
mhm,
It's tough to watch,
mhm,
but I mean it's such a good movie, and it's based off a novel which I haven't read, but
mm.
yeah,
That probably is even harder to read. You know?
yeah. Well, eventually, once I get my Audible subscription back, I do
Hmm.
want to listen to A Clockwork Orange on audiobook, but for a while.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff. Yeah, there's so many movies. on my watch list in my head where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get to that. And then I'm like, oops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm definitely that way a lot too. Let me see. There was that new movie with Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. I can't remember what it's
We Live
called.
in Time.
That's the one. That's
That
been on
movie's amazing.
that's been on my radar ever since I first heard about it a few months ago, and
Hmm.
I've wanted to watch it. I just haven't had the I haven't been able to sit down and commit to it.
Yeah, no, I get it. And especially with kids, it's like can't watch that on the living room TV, you know. Um,
Well,
I will
I
tell you,
can
it's
bed for that.
oh, well, there you go. That was one that I was like, wow, it was very good. Um, that yeah, that was one same thing. I was like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to watch this, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna watch it, and
Well,
so
well, I mean, Florence Pugh is just such a great actress. I mean, she has
mhm.
phenomenal range. And oh, there go my overhead light.
I think there's a
Uh,
pair of eyes behind you. Be funny if you weren't joking, like it was really, and I just thought you were joking, and then your camera just phone cuts out. You know? Like, oh no.
yeah, exactly. It's like, oh yeah, there's nobody behind me.
Oh man, yeah, dude. I might like Florence Pugh. I'm super excited. Well, not the. I mean, I'm super excited for Doom Messiah, but knowing that she's gonna be in it even more, it's just like, oh man, just
Rulon. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, she was definitely underutilized. Well,
Hmm.
I utilized. What I really mean is that she just didn't play a huge part in Dune Part Two.
And that was for a reason too.
Yeah, for
Mhm.
everybody who's watching right now, because we do have viewers right now. We're basically done talking about Blues Brothers because comes out with that movie. So
I know.
I'm gonna go ahead and close my door here. But yeah,
Let there be light.
talking about movies in general. So
I see the light.
about chat and whatnot. Just we're talking about just movies now.
I see
Right
the
now,
light.
Florence Pugh. um,
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, light's gone. Darn.
I don't remember if I had gotten the chance to ask you, what did you think of
Mm.
Thunderbolts?
Oh, I thought it was like I try like I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's amazing," whatever. I thought it was great. Like and I it's behind Guardians 3 for me, behind the best movie since Endgame personally. Um and the like I going into it, I liked all the characters, um, except maybe Ghost, just because, but that's not necessarily her fault. That was just Ant-Man and the Wasp in general.
Yeah,
Um,
terrible.
and yeah, exactly. But like John Walker, I liked him. Even before this movie, I liked him in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So it had a lot of good things going for it for me. And man, the balance of like the humor, lighthearted humor, and then the intense, um I don't know what you would call it, but like the scene with Florence Pugh where she finally breaks down to her dad,
Hmm.
that was really powerful,
It
you
was.
know. And yeah, it was, and Bob was great, cucumber, cucumber, you know. Also the the Toy Story, kind of reference there in the elevator shaft, good
Yeah,
stuff.
they all fall down. Florence Pugh snags him with her line there, and just after she's
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, dude, it was like it. I'm still obviously even before it. I was like I hadn't lost faith in Marvel, but I knew it was definitely in a this needs to win the general audience back, and I think it has personally. Um, I don't think, and then think about it. Obviously, there's Ironheart, but like for big Marvel projects that a lot of people are going to see, there's Fantastic Four next,
yeah
and I mean, this could be the best. This has the potential to be the best year for Marvel since I would say probably 2021 because you had WandaVision and Loki that year. You had Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
yeah
Hawkeye. Say what you will about No Way Home. That was big hit. Um, So this, yeah, because what's after Fantastic Four? I, I feel like there's a
Uh,
third Marvel movie this year, but I could be mistaken. I
is
don't
it
remember.
the next Wakanda movie, or is
Oh,
that the
the
animated series?
that's gonna okay. That's the next animated project. Yeah, yeah. And then there's Marvel Zombies later in
Yeah.
the year. Um, because I know I think it was Feige said that they're gonna cut back to 2 to 3 movies a year max, and then 1 to 2 Disney Plus shows a year max. And um, personally, that's the right move because there was I think it was 2021 with Marvel and Star Wars where like Marvel show would end on Tuesday and then a Star Wars show would pick up on Thursday. And then it
Hmm.
was like once that ended, then and the moment it was like, oh, this is really cool. Then you look back on it and you're like, that's probably what caused a lot of the fatigue for the general audience was you didn't even have time to process the show before, all right, next show. Versus now,
Yeah.
you can because like not everyone is gonna watch Ironheart. I'm watching, obviously I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna check it out. Don't Not too excited for it, but I hope it surprises me.
Yeah.
Um, so from Marvel, the next, is Fantastic Four, and I think that's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen a lot of positive buzz about it.
Mm-hmm.
And when the first trailer came out, I didn't quite know what to make of it. I mean, it looked fun,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of where that was kind of where it stopped for me. Was it looks fun,
Yeah.
but then the second trailer came out that dove a lot more into like the characters and the story and what's going on and kind of hammering in the drama that's going on. And I was like, okay, I'm sold.
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely check this out. I mean, not that I wouldn't have, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely going into it a bit more optimistic than I would have been otherwise.
Yeah.
Uh, and I don't have any particular uh, connection to the Fantastic Four. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like all the comic books that I own, I don't think I own a single Fantastic Four comic book, and it's not because I actively dislike them or
Right.
anything. It's not something that I really went out of my way for. So
I haven't read a single Fantastic Four comic, so
yeah. So
yeah.
I'm hoping that this will be kind of what gets me on board with that particular aspect of Marvel, and I'm sure they'll incorporate it into the MCU in an interesting way, even though Thunderbolts kind of spoiled it for us already.
Well, there are some theories about that. I forgot to mention that's not actually the Fantastic Four in that ship.
No.
That it was Galactus.
Okay. Well,
No, I'm sorry, not Galactus. Um,
the Silver Surfer.
Doom. There's theories that the
Oh,
Doom because, and I think part of that is Robert Downey Jr. So they're like to bring in, you know, him playing a different character into the MCU.
yeah,
He's got to be from a different kind of like how this Fantastic Four is not from Earth 616. They're
yeah,
from something and they're being brought. So, um, it'll be interesting. And kind of like you said, like obviously the previous Fantastic Four movies haven't done much to get you excited necessarily for this version, but I like all the actors that they've picked
yeah,
for the roles, and that's what's got me excited. And then the trailer, I like the futuristic 60s vibe, and the score is already like I'm already chanting Fantastic Four in a choir voice, Um, so I think it'll be good. You know, but we'll see. Only time will tell.
yeah, yeah. It's Marvel had lost their stride for a while.
Yeah.
I think they found it again with Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, they see. I hope that they take a look at why that movie worked so well with its audience,
Yeah.
and that as a foundation to build off of moving forward. Because I mean, yeah, Marvel has the big Marvel fights and the explosions and the superhero action,
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot, but that's not why most people, especially people who grew up with this franchise, that's not why
Mm-hmm.
they watch it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That they watch it for the characters, and they want to see these characters get pushed. They want to see them you know, at their highest, at their lowest. They want to see them break down. They want to see them overjoyed. They want good character work, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just been missing. And Captain America: Brave New World is a shining example of that, because
Yeah.
Anthony Mackie has two facial expressions: serious and less serious.
Yeah.
And he has two tones of voice: serious, less serious. So I I wanted to like that movie so badly,
I did
and
too.
I just couldn't. There
No,
was
yeah.
the action was fun, but that's not why I wanted to see it. You know, I came out of that theater thinking that there was something missing.
And you know the problem with it, because I agree, I wanted to like it so bad, and about halfway through, I was like, I'm not liking this at all. And I think the issue is they didn't even give him his own movie. Was
No,
an Incredible Hulk sequel with Captain America,
yeah,
but just with the Captain American name. And I was like, really? Like, yeah, I was just like, this is not. That's why I was thinking there were 3 Marvel movies. I completely forgot about Brave New World. So Fantastic Four is the 3rd Marvel movie. That's why I was like, I know there's 3 this year. But it's like Ironheart. That's been complete for 3 years.
has it really?
And yeah, production ended 3 years ago,
Wow.
and they've kept, it'll be 3 years later this year, I think. And the thing is, her Riri Williams introduction in Wakanda Forever, I think they were trying to do like what they did with Chadwick Boseman and Civil War. That was a cool introduction to a character. And then 2
Was
years later, you get Black Panther, and you're like, all right. Her introduction, Wakanda Forever, was A, out of place. B, I was like, I have no idea who this is. I've never heard of Ironheart.
yeah,
And like, I'm gonna watch it, of course, but like in the trailer, she says, I want to do something iconic. She just creates another Iron Man suit. Like
yeah,
she literally, and now I will say this. I'm gonna keep judgment until I watch it. You know, they're doing the first week they're doing a 3-episode drop, and then 3 more episodes. So it could be good. I think it's one of those where the internet's going to be a fun place when this show comes out, because if you don't like it, it's going to be, oh, you don't like women, da 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 da, and then you like it, and it's like, oh, you like it, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, geez.
well, it's unfortunately, with something like that, there's no gray area. But
Mm-hmm.
I will give it the credit of, it has a leg up over the first Black Panther movie, because when Black Panther came out,
Mm-hmm.
the main source of hype around it was that it was one of the first black centered
Mm-hmm.
superhero. You know, let's just forget that Blade existed, of course, because of course. But well, there was also Steel with Shaquille O'Neal, but we don't.
Right.
But
Come tune in next week because we review Steel.
I don't want to watch Steel. Bargain! God.
Here's the problem. See, I'm the lead producer of this show, so you know.
Well, we could probably do Steel next week.
No,
Yeah,
I actually haven't seen it.
Well, I'll take a look at the list later and see what.
We got to do something. Yeah, we gotta keep the crowd engaged. You know.
Yeah, of course. But, what I was saying about Black Panther was
Mm-hmm.
that movie was a cultural. What's the word? Not cultural landmark, stepping stone.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Right. I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's very culturally significant, and so.
Mm-hmm.
With that came the mentality of if you didn't like the movie, then we all know why.
Right.
Which, of course, isn't the right way to go about it. And
Yeah.
I hope that Ironheart doesn't fall down that. Well, obviously, if that's the case, it's not going to be the show's fault.
Right.
But I'm hoping that doesn't become the case with Ironheart. I hope that people can look at it a bit more, more subjectively, and judge it based on what's on screen,
Mm-hmm.
rather than judging it based off of its own hype. which
Yeah.
unfortunately there is none.
Well, I was gonna say that's what concerns me is one, it's taken so long to release. So it's like, does Marvel have no faith? They were just it was about a month and like a week out, they dropped the trailer the same day as the new Superman trailer. And like I said, I, and it's gonna have an episode drop the week that Fantastic Four comes out. So my theory is not a lot of people are gonna watch this show. I think like Die Hard, I like I don't even know. Like I'm watching it just because whatever, it's Marvel. But it's like people that aren't like that, that just are maybe casual Marvel fans. I don't see it having high numbers. And
Yeah,
that doesn't mean it's going to be a bad show. It could be a great show, and whatever. But I think at best it'll probably be fine. Like that was okay. Like it wasn't horrible. Wasn't eh. It was just eh.
yeah. Well, there's been a lot of those in Marvel lately, just very
Mm-hmm.
middle of the road type of projects. Like Doctor Strange 2 felt very middle of the road. They had
Yeah.
Raimi on to direct it, and
Mm-hmm.
it just felt like another corporate Marvel product.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that there was some Sam Raimi flair in there and some
Mm-hmm.
camera angles and
It has
stuff.
some good stuff going for it. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the story didn't make a whole lot of sense. The character work was super bland. The
You're bringing
cameo,
Patrick Stewart back just to kill him.
yeah, the cameos that everybody was super excited for ended up being a big nothing burger.
Right.
So and then America Chavez. When are we going to see her again?
Exactly. Yeah, that's another example of yeah, had no knowledge of that character before the movie, and it's like maybe she'll would she be considered a young Avenger?
I think so. What up, Dingus? Why are we so blue today? Well, if you're
We
referring
talked
to
for the movie for maybe 20 minutes.
yeah, we started talking about Blues Brothers, and we got a pretty good discussion out of it. But the problem
Yeah.
with that movie, and I didn't realize this going into it because it was a first time watch for me, was nothing really happens in that movie.
Yeah.
So, our discussion ended up stopping at about 35 minutes, and so we've been kind of buffering the time with talking about Marvel and other things that we're excited for.
Kind of like Blues Brothers, we're filling the time, you know.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Exactly. Through the Illuminati in that movie. I
Well,
agree.
you know one thing too that I just thought of that when we were talking about just like mid projects is I don't know what changed or when it changed or what. But we've gotten to a time with online reviewing where you watch any movie, any show, it's either A, one of the best things I've ever seen, or B, one of the worst things I've ever seen. You
Yeah.
rarely see people say, you know what, that was fine. It had some good things here, some not so good things here. It was fine. Because I'm like, dude, like, that's fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It's just fine. But you don't see that nowadays. It's either, oh, yeah, it's like this greatest thing or the worst thing. It's like, I don't know what happened.
Well, I've been coming across that across a whole bunch of different things, and something that I've discovered fairly recently. Now,
Hmm.
mind you, The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I love the show. I
Hmm.
I freaking
I
adore.
got to get caught up on season 2. I have fallen behind.
The writing is phenomenal. The acting is phenomenal. The cinematography, the special effects.
Hmm.
No, and this is coming from somebody who never played the games.
Yeah, see, I haven't either. So yeah.
The Last of Us fandom are so up in arms over the show, not because
Hmm.
the show itself is bad, but because they don't like Bella Ramsey as Ellie.
Yeah,
It's
right. I'm like, she's good.
the one thing that's bringing down the show for everybody else, and it's like, but why?
Right. That one, yeah. Um,
I just can't with this. And Dingus,
I've heard some things about it.
so
Yeah.
I'm curious to know why you feel that way because I honestly have been really loving season 2. I think it's great. It has issues here and there, sure. I mean, there are some things where I was like, okay, that didn't need to be there, or okay, I could have done without that, or et cetera, et cetera. But overall, I think The Last of Us, the show as a whole, is a major accomplishment in video game adaptations.
I was gonna say, so yeah, I like I said, I actually haven't even started season 2 yet. I have fallen behind. I'm gonna get caught up, but I loved then like I said, I had never even heard of the game before season 1 came out. I saw the trailer. I was like, this looks really cool. Watched it. I was like, dude, I'm locked in. And then someone decided to start doing a podcast on Sunday nights when the episodes air. And then, I just forget about him during the week. And then I see him. I'm like, oh, right. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah.
Yep.
So
it's because of Bella and playing the game beforehand. Now, I'm not saying this to be confrontational at all, but please elaborate on that, because I'm honestly, as someone who never played the games, I think Bella's doing great. I think she has fantastic range. She can be super happy and then be screaming with rage, in the next scene.
yeah.
She's got chops.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have said that she's not a good actor. I really don't agree. I think she's doing a fantastic job as Ellie. Now, is she Ellie from the games? No, but again, I never played the games, so I don't go into it with that predisposition of hoping that something is what I expect it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
No, I get that. Yeah, I thought
Bella played Last of Us 1, Ellie. Okay.
I think some things I've heard, and like I said, I haven't started the season yet, but I think I've heard that maybe she's not as like tough in season 2 as season 1.
I've heard that.
Yeah, but like I said, I haven't started season 2 yet, so I can't really speak on it.
Yeah, I mean it's tough, and unfortunately, whenever you're adapting something, there's always going to be things that get changed. There's always going to be things that don't quite reach the level of expectation that you want to see. Let me see.
Okay, that makes sense.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I could see from the perspective of someone who's played the game, you have a good idea. But I think season 2 or game 2 is split into 2 seasons, so it's possible by season 3 she could be to that level. I don't know.
Well, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, Andrew, but yeah, at the end of episode 5 of season 2, I thought Bella was legitimately scary, because season 2 is all about her rage, which is something that I really appreciate seeing in any type of story. I want to see. I want to see a character that reaches the highest of highs and lowest of lows, and I want to see not just their emotions being challenged, but their morals as well. And that's something that I feel is coming across fairly well in this season so far. Now, granted, they could completely drop the ball. I mean, that's happened plenty of times before in other media, but with the show being as consistently good as I think it is, my hopes are pretty high.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think the easiest way is to represent them, and I understand. I do agree with you in a lot of ways, because I've gone through and I've watched clips from The Last of Us 2, the game, just to kind of compare, not necessarily scene by scene, but just kind of the vibe of Ellie in the game versus the vibe of Ellie in the show, and it's different. It definitely is different. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I mean, there's definitely some stark contrast, but I mean, whether fortunately or unfortunately, like I said, I never played the game, so I didn't have that. I didn't have that as a foundation to compare it to. But I see
me too.
I didn't play the game. Yeah, that's definitely the boat that I'm on.
Yeah, and I think that, and this sounds funny coming from me because I haven't played a lot of video games, but it is the best video game adaptation that I have personally seen, show or movie, at this moment in time. I can't think of another video game movie or show that I've seen where I was like, that's Last of Us level.
Right.
But
What, like Lara Croft Tomb Raider? Oh God.
or Uncharted, you know. Uh,
I, I actually never saw Uncharted, and
okay, I will say I know I just joked on that. It's got its moments where it's good. I'm like, okay, because it's funny because that movie came out after No Way Home, but Tom Holland filmed the whole thing before he filmed No Way Home.
yeah, yeah. I,
Oh,
I
that's true. Wow, I didn't realize she was supposed to be that young. I forgot she was that young. Hmm.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
Uh,
watching Uncharted, I mean, yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I haven't seen it, but at the trailers, I'm like, it's Spider-Man. It's fucking Spider-Man. Like,
yeah,
don't get me wrong. I'm sure Marvel's doing great for Tom Holland's career, but
yeah.
you can't. The problem with playing a character so iconic is that you can't see that actor as anything but that character.
It's gonna take a like almost like award winning worthy performance from him because I now can watch like I can watch Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and I've seen some pretty incredible performances from them and I'm like okay I can separate it. So but Tom Holland from what I've at least of his filmography that I've seen hasn't had that yet.
No,
um
yeah,
so
yeah. He's been in movies like besides Uncharted,
yeah.
he in that movie with Daisy Ridley. What was it called?
Oh, I know what you're talking about but I don't remember.
Well, where they can like read each other's minds or something. Uh,
Yeah, he was in
and
this. Yeah, I don't remember what it was called. Let me just
I
see.
don't remember what it was called either, but
Yeah,
I it and it's one of those movies that I thought was fine.
yeah.
I ha- I had no desire to watch it again because it's it.
Chaos Walking.
Yes, Chaos Walking exactly, and it's a movie where you can watch it and have fun with it, but it doesn't give you a reason to go back and rewatch it because you feel like you've gotten everything the movie has to offer just on that first viewing.
And
And
honestly, actually, every single one of his movies, outside of he only has one movie outside of Marvel related movies that has a, or I'm sorry, two movies outside of the Marvel movies that have above a 7 on IMDb that like he's one of the main cast members. That's The Devil All the Time and The Impossible.
I didn't see The Impossible. I didn't see The Devil All the Time either. Was that the one with
Five
Robert Pattinson?
Dings. Yes, yeah, that was yeah.
Okay.
And see, I haven't seen either of those two either. So it's like, whoops.
Yeah. Eventually, yeah, sure. But Tom Holland, he's a good actor, but
Yeah.
he's not one that I've got on my radar to go out of my way to watch.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, in the Spider-Man movies, he's really good. He was
Yeah.
great in No Way Home because
Yeah.
you saw that more rageful side of him. You saw him mourning Aunt May, which I thought was really great. I mean, Tom Holland has range. He just has
Hmm.
to work with a script and a director that allows him to use that range.
Well, it's kind of like okay, Jenna Ortega. She's a pretty good actress, all things considered, but her agent or her just are bad at picking projects because when you look at her last like few movies that have come out, I don't think any of them have higher than like a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. You know, like the
Well,
new one with The Weeknd has like a
oh
2% or something like that. Like,
yeah,
but that's
I
not a knock on her because she's good. It's just she's picking the wrong movies to be in.
and
So,
the end of all people, like
right. Like
he,
imagine you're being pitched a movie and you're like, I can't, this story's awful. The Weeknd's gonna be in it. Sold. Where do I sign? It's like,
yeah.
what?
Can anybody name a Weekend song besides "I Can't Feel My Face"? Like, and then
Blinding Lights. There you go.
I never heard it.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
Yeah,
I've only heard like 2 or 3 of his songs.
I,
So
I am all for indie films. I am
yeah.
all for
Oh
people
yeah.
making the movie that they want to make. Especially someone who mostly specializes in other forms of media. Well like Flying Lotus, for example. He's primarily a music producer and
Hmm.
music video director. Yeah, he directed Ash, which I saw back in March.
Oh, okay. That's pretty
And
cool.
and is it a masterpiece of a movie? No, but I adored that movie because I saw legitimate passion that went into it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I saw a love for the craft. I saw decent direction. I saw someone who had a vision and wanted to put it out there, and it really paid off. Not not
Hmm.
not financially, mind you. I don't think the
Right.
movie made a lot of money, but um, well, when you see a movie that you can tell there was so much work and passion put into it, it elevates the experience.
Oh, 100%.
Whereas, something like Beetlejuice 2,
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it's just like, okay, well, that's just kind of a corporate movie. They made
Yeah.
it be.
The problem with that movie is if you cut out the 30 minutes of him and like his ex-wife thing, that storyline, um, it's not half bad. But the problem is you have so much going on that by the end of the movie, you're like, well, that was not resolved, or that was resolved in a lame way, or you just left feeling not. It's like I wasn't fed. Like what the heck?
Kind of like the
Like
Blues
there you go.
Brothers.
Exactly. Yes. See, here's what we're good at. We're good at rounding it. It's like poetry. It's like we're just good at. We're just. I mean, but like you said with indie films, there was this. It's a pretty serious movie. It's a hard watch. It was about a real war, and
Don't you
it-
dare. Don't you dare, you son of a bitch.
and it's really sad because a lot of people died. I died a little bit on the inside too.
Characters' relationships are really put to the test.
There's this amazing father-daughter dynamic.
Especially in a tent.
And yeah, I was just about to say, there's a scene where they really show their love for each other.
Good
I mean, like,
God, man.
and not like a kiss you give your grandma. I mean, like, so.
Like, is this just gonna be like the meme for our show? Like, is the Emu Award just gonna be,
What it is when we're both deciding what should we talk about when there's like this dead space, it's just the first thing that pops in my head. I'm like, well,
God.
maybe that's what makes it good. You can fit the emu war into any conversation.
Oh, great. Well, while we're talking about the finale of Whiplash, it's like, Miles Teller really brought that intensity, really a lot like the climactic final battle of the Emu War.
I mean, there's a soldier that somehow finds out that he has a kid that's a little emu, but
Daddy?
he never had relations with an emu, so I'm not really sure how that.
Don't try and figure out how the movie works, man.
Well,
a lot of headaches.
I will say you will love the queen emu. I mean, it's just I mean.
Yes, she brings so much to the movie.
Yes, I mean, honestly, with she's kind of the glue that holds she's like, it's like when you have cookies and you're like, I need some milk.
Okay, I'm logging off now.
Only people that have seen the movie will get that joke, right?
Yeah, well,
or hey, what about like Gods of Egypt? Not any single Egyptian actor anywhere.
No, not one single one. But we just keep on coming back to all the worst movies that we've watched, and it's just like, but Blues Brothers wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, but it was that bad? Crawl.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Damn it.
And with it, Crawl's almost one of those, the more I think about it, I think it's one of those so bad it's good kind of movies, because I don't look back on it and go, I can't believe I watched that. I'm like, I'm happy I watched it. But at the same time, there's some moments where I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, all right. Like kind of like I equate it to like a Jurassic Park 3. Bad movie. But you know what? It's not that bad of a watch either.
Okay. Yeah.
For me, at least. I'll just say that. I mean, it's bad, but
the only thing about Kroll that I regret having sat through was that freaking mountain climbing scene.
Yes.
Everything else was gold. But that
Well, it was
one,
like I I told because we my family and I watched the movie Legend a couple weeks ago, the Tom Cruise Ridley Scott movie,
yeah,
and it's exactly like Kroll, where you're like, what's going on? Why do these characters know all of a sudden what's going on, but they're new to the story? Like,
yeah,
how did this old guy just come down from the mountains and know everything? Like, what the heck? Um, but in that, it's like those quirks about it. You kind of go, okay, that's just kind of funny. Like, I don't know.
yeah,
Where's my Kroll too? I need a second Kroll. You know, we need a glaive. We need
yeah.
Return of the Glaive.
Well,
You
yeah,
know.
you know that movie, that movie 47 Ronin with Keanu Reeves.
I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great. It's
Hmm.
very mediocre. But that movie actually got like a straight to streaming sequel, which I was surprised about because how the hell do you continue the story of the 47 Ronin? That's like its own story. But
It's called the 48 Ronin.
yeah, yeah, exactly. The
Oh
47 will
man.
return, even though they all commit seppuku at the end of the movie. But you know,
Spoiler. Wow. Jeez. Even though the movie's been out for like probably 12, 14 years.
I think it
Yeah.
came out in 2013. It was just before the
Oh,
first John Wick. Yeah, Keanu
okay.
career was kind of on its decline, but then John Wick
Yeah.
put
Well,
life
that
back.
was like over half my life ago. So that's a long time in my terms. All
Yeah,
right.
and I mean, as many bad movies as I try to get you watch, I'm not going to waste your time with 47 Ronin because I mean, it's not like an offensively bad movie, but it's just so mediocre. It's almost offensive.
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. And this is like the 50th billionth time we've mentioned this movie. If I can watch the Emu War, I can watch just about anything. And while the Emu War is entertainingly bad, I, dude, I don't. If it weren't for this show, I wouldn't have lasted 10 minutes. No, I wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes into that movie. But I was like, no, it's gonna get good. I'm
Oh.
sure it is. And I just kept saying that until the credits rolled, and I was like, "Oops."
An hour and 12 minutes into it, finally the credits come up. It's like,
That
wait,
movie felt longer.
freedom!
That movie felt longer than like a 4-hour movie. I was like, dude, what the heck?
I,
I started it with like 2 hours before we were supposed to do the show because I was like, that's plenty of time to watch it. And I kept pausing and I was like, oh no. This was not
like,
enough time.
I will sit through both VHSs of Titanic before I watch the Emu War again.
Yes. I need to be Men in Black. Like
Yeah.
just what are we talking about? Goo goo gaga. Oh no, I wiped his memory too far. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, if he has the mentality of a baby, then he won't remember if I put on the Emu War one last time.
But then the problem is you're gonna give me nostalgia for that movie because then I'll go, yeah, I watched it as a kid, and
Oh,
just
I don't think anybody can say that. Oh yeah, man, I watched Emu War as a kid. I really liked it growing up. Nobody can say that. You would be the absolute first.
dude, I would have, you know what, that person would have to be like put in some kind of psychiatric ward if someone came to me and was like, yeah, dude, the Emu War, like, if I open up Letterboxd and I see that on someone's 4 favorites, they're gonna report it. Like, dude, what the
You're
heck?
just gonna report their profile.
Yeah, I mean, what's the cause? I'm offended. They put the Emu War in their top 4,
God.
Oh man.
Well, we have
Good stuff.
definitely let this tangent go for quite a while now. So
Yeah.
I think it's safe to call it here.
What that means is Cam's phone battery is about to die.
No, my battery is actually at 24%.
That's there you go. So we still got 23% to go. Yeah.
It's like all of that 22% is just us looking at the camera going, Emu War, Emu War.
In a year, we're gonna have an Emu War retrospective episode.
God.
And it's gonna be an hour and 20-minute deep dive into frame by frame. Yeah.
Doing a play-by-play commentary.
We need to, yeah, I was gonna say we should do an Emu War watch party. We're gonna do an Emu War watch party.
God. Well, we would
But
have
we're not actually watching the movie.
folks in here to make that work.
Right. No,
People who aren't afraid to be traumatized for the rest of their lives.
I think I'm sick that week. Actually, that's right.
Let me see. It's gonna be May 25th of 2027. I think I'll lick a toilet seat the day before.
Yeah, I think I lost. I'm losing my voice on that day. Actually, yeah.
Man, I had such a rough day last year. That sucks. That's such a rough day.
I had to like move or something. Just, golly,
We will see. We will see.
No, oh God, no.
All right.
What have I done?
Yeah, all right.
I'm like Anakin Skywalker.
What ideas have you planted into my head?
Oh man.
All right, Mr. Andrew, do you have any shameless plugs for us? I know you have what was it, Fanboy Expo coming up?
Yep, that's pretty accurate. So this coming tomorrow night on MCU Monday, we're going to be discussing Jessica Jones season 1, episode 2.
Nice.
It's weird because for like the Defender stuff, since I've been doing MCU Monday, it's only ever been Daredevil, so it's weird to be doing a different show. But Jessica Jones is good for sure. I've only seen season 1 so far, but I enjoyed it. Thursday, Cam and I and David and Debbie will be on for the Cantina Happy Hour. We'll be discussing Tales of the Underworld. I know that. Those are pretty short episodes, so we may have another discussion point. I don't know. Next Sunday, I'll be back here talking about either a really good movie or a movie I've never heard of. And then here, there you go. Let's see. Just over, actually, not this, about, whatever. People don't care. About 12 days from now, David and I will be attending Fan Expo Dallas. So that's going to be a lot of fun. First time going for me, so I'm really looking forward to it. They're starting to announce a lot of cool guests. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great weekend. If you're in the Dallas area, David's going to have a lot of stuff he's getting rid of for free. You just got to walk up to him and go, Daddy?
Damn it.
Confuse the heck out of him.
Up the Emu War again.
If there's one thing I'm good at, it's referencing the Emu War.
Oh, God. What kind of monster have I created?
I morph into an emu, So yeah, I think that's it for me. Yeah.
All right. And as far as I go, you guys can catch me over on Feast of Fandoms on Thursday night for the Cantina Happy Hour discussing Star Wars. As Andrew said, we'll be talking about Tales of the Underworld, which is the third anthology animated series, which has been really good so far. Next Sunday, we'll be back for Cam and Focus Weekly. I will try and make next week's movie one that both you haven't seen, as well as one that's really good. So
there you go.
I'll scour my library for something good.
Emu work. Emu.
No.
The legs are like bent like that.
I'm calling it. That's it. I'm done. Thanks everybody for joining us and joining in the chat. Like and subscribe to Cam and Focus. We'll see you guys.